This meeting is being recorded.
All right. We have 3 students here, Medha, Parth, and Sagna. Okay, in today's lecture, in today's session, we would be probing 2 aspects. Essentially, number 1, how UPSC uses current affairs or uses news to draw questions or to frame questions out of it. Number 1. Number 2, we would be also doing a few CSAT based questions and see how we can solve CSAT, especially comprehension questions, quite easily and even without looking at the passages. Just sharing the screen with you guys. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Parth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's quickly begin the exercise. Current affairs destroyed and hacked CSAT for IAS Prelims 2022. Now, Medha, I would want you to quickly read this 2021 prelims question.
Okay, sir. Bisphenol A, BPA, a cause of concern, is a structural #key component in the manufacture of which of the following kinds of plastic? Option A is low density polyethylene, B polycarbonate, C polyethylene tetraphthalate, D polyvinyl chloride.
Okay, I won't ask you guys for the correct answer here because I don't want to grill you. This is not a test. But I would certainly like to know, when you gave this exam in 2021, did this feel something of a surprise or something that came complete out of the blue? Medha?
Yes.
Yes, sir. It felt like somewhat a surprise only. I could relate C and D with poly and PVC I knew, but the B option I didn't know. So yeah, it was a surprise.
Parth and Sagna?
Same
So
take as
certainly
Medha,
it
sir.
was
Sagna?
out of the box for me.
Mhm.
And I was not sure. I eliminated actually B and D option. I was confused in A and C.
Okay. So
Just
obviously,
because polyethylene coming in both the options.
all right. Obviously, the correct answer here, as you all know, is option B, polycarbonate. Parth, can you read the rule mentioned at the bottom of the screen?
Yes, sir. Items of common use that have potential harmful impact are more likely to be asked.
So what do you understand by
Items
this
of
rule,
common-
Parth?
UPSC is basically asking questions, particularly from the area which has negative effect on environment.
Environment, animals, and humans. That's what is your interpretation, Parth, right?
Right.
Now, what if I tell you we could have actually been prepared for this question in the 2021 prelims? Would that make sense to you guys if I say we could have been prepared for this? Sagna, Parth?
That's a trick, sir. Like beforehand being prepared for the question.
Now, let me share something with you. This news piece that was there in the news just a few months before the exam, Prelims 2021. Sagna, can you read the highlighted portion, the upper portion of the text? This is from the Indian
Yes,
Express.
sir. Yeah, the polycarbonates or any material where BPA is used for manufacturing feeding bottles. Okay.
So this was out there in the news. Coming back to the rule, does this follow the rule that we have already shared? Items of common use that have potential harmful impact are more likely to be asked.
Yes, sir.
Does it make
Yes,
better
sir.
sense now?
Yes, sir.
Right.
It was out there already before the exam. Now that we have understood the rule 1 that UPSC follows while using current affairs for framing questions, let's do a practice question, guys. Sagna, just read out this question, please.
Okay, sir. Triorthocresyl phosphate, TOCP, considered harmful for humans, is more likely to be found in, I think it's cosmetics, sir.
Okay. Medha, Parth, what do you think?
Certainly, sir, not edible oils, I believe.
Mhm.
Sir,
Mm,
so it is a phosphate. So it could be a kind of fertilizer
fertilizer or
cosmetic.
Hi.
cosmetic, right?
Okay. See, the interesting part of this question is in a very similar manner, the earlier question that we did, this one, polycarbonate wala. You didn't think or you didn't preempt it to be polycarbonate, and that was the answer. Most likely people eliminated it, right?
Right.
Coming back to this question, the correct answer here is edible oils, as you can see on your screen. Now,
Oh,
Parth, just read out this highlighted section from the Indian Express.
Food Safety and Standard Authority of India has shared a simple test to check triorthocresyl phosphate adulteration in oil.
TOCP adulteration in oil. Okay. Now it's there in news. It's there, but we just missed to see or missed to read between the lines. If at all such a question emanated from current affairs, it would have been really tough for us to answer, right?
Right.
true, sir.
But as now we know the rule 1 as to how we should prepare, this should not be that difficult a task. Now, quickly moving to another question from 2021. Sagna, can you just read out this question from 2021 prelims?
Yes, sir. Triclosan, considered harmful when exposed to high levels for a long time, is most likely present in which of the following? Option A, food preservatives. B, fruit ripening substances. C, reused plastic containers. D, toiletries.
Again, Sagna, was this again sort of a surprise, somewhat of a tricky question when you wrote the exam in 2021?
Yes, sir. It was from out. It was tricky.
Okay, was it the same case for you, Medha, Parth?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That I have not read it.
Something that seemed to have completely out of the blue, about which we have no idea whatsoever.
Right.
Okay. So obviously the correct answer here is option D, toiletries, as you can see on your screen. I'll share a very interesting piece of news with you guys. Medha, can you just read out the highlighted section here?
Triclosan in toothpaste soap can impact nervous system.
Impact nervous system. Okay. Does this follow from the same rule that we have seen? Now, this is a 2021 prelims question, a real exam question. Rule number 1 that we read. Remember the rule?
Yes. Yes.
Items of common use
Yes,
that
sir.
Items of common use
are more likely to be asked. And this is the news piece that was already there, available before the very exam. Now, does it make sense if I tell that we could have known about triclosan beforehand, and this question shouldn't have appeared that surprising to us? Does it make more sense now, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right.
It makes sense. And as you can see the date here, it's December 15, 2020, and the exam was held in 2021, right? Now, let's do a similar practice question again. Medha, can you read out the question?
Yes, sir. Consider the following statements regarding monosodium glutamate. Number 1, it is believed to potentially cause harmful effects on humans. Number 2, it is a synthetic chemical not found naturally in food items. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A, one only,
All right,
B, two
fine.
only.
All right, Medha. What do you think is the correct answer, guys? Parth, Medha, Sagna.
I believe A only.
Sagna and Medha.
Yes, sir, A only.
Okay, so this is a simpler one. The correct answer is certainly A only. And just to make it more clear to you, this is the news piece pertaining to MSG. Parth, can you read it out, please? The highlighted portion.
It is made up of free glutamic acid, glutamate, and an amino acid found naturally in most foods.
Most foods. Okay. So it is, as the question said, it is a synthetic chemical not found naturally in food items. But the news item here, news piece, makes it amply clear that it is naturally found in most foods. Again, to reiterate myself, this is a very simplified question to be able to make you relate with the news items and how questions can be drawn from those news items. Now, coming to a CSAT question, the students, Sagna, Medha, and
Yes,
Parth, all three of you. Now, we just have questions here. We don't have the passage in front of us. Still, can you guys help me with the answer? If I tell you to just give me the answer without reading the passages, without reading the passage.
Kela?
Yes, sir.
What would be the answer?
B.
Option B.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
People have to perceive toilet use and pit emptying as clean and not polluting. Okay, if you are saying that option B is the correct answer, all three of you, why not option A, option C, option D? We haven't read the passage anyways. How do we eliminate A, C, and D?
So A is a negative connotation, sir. They're saying that it cannot be removed from the minds of people. So
Same goes with C.
yes.
And
What
so
about
D
D?
is an extreme statement. It is an extreme statement. Neither civic sense nor sense of privacy.
I believe you mean it is more on the pessimistic tone. People have
Right,
neither
right.
X nor Y. Okay. Neither
Right.
civic sense nor privacy. And why is B correct then? People have to perceive X, Y, Z as clean and not polluting.
It's a progressive
is-
statement.
Yes.
Now, to make it more
It
clear to
also-
sure. To make it more
Optimism.
clear to other students who have not been part of the CSAT club, now this is the passage alongside the same questions. So if anyone wants, he or she can pause the video, go through the passage and see that the correct answer would still remain the same. And we solved it without having the need to read the passage using the skills we have learned in the CSAT workshop. Now coming from CSAT to current affairs again, this is again a 2021 question asked by UPSC. Medha, can you read this out, please?
Yes, sir. With reference to India, consider the following statements. Judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of concerned magistrate, and such accused is locked up in police station, not in jail. Second statement is during judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without the approval of the court. Which of the following statements is or are correct?
Okay, so
Above statements are correct.
here the correct answer is certainly statement 2 only is correct. But what was your reaction when you saw this question in the paper? Medha,
Sir, I had not read anything about it, but about the judicial custody and whether in jail or in police lockup. But for statement 1, uh, there is a hint given that locked up in police station and there is overemphasis on it.
You are,
And then
you are
it says
using, you are
not,
mentioning a logical paper solving skill, Medha, that you have learned as part of Destroy Prelims. Let's not use logical
sir.
skills here. We are
Okay.
trying to probe as to could we have been prepared for this question as part of our current affairs preparation. Okay, so we'll avoid using logics here.
Okay.
Parth and Sagna.
Sir,
What
certainly,
your thought
I would
process?
say not this much deeply that we would have been prepared for this question.
Right.
Heard a lot of times about the judicial custody, particularly in Shah Rukh Khan's son's case, Aryan Khan ke case, mein, I believe. But yeah, I used the logical elimination technique and I marked B only.
What about you, Sagna?
Yes, sir. It was actually a very surprise question. But at that moment in the exam hall, I couldn't guess that it was related to the current affairs. But after coming back with, thinking of the judicial custody, that was probably the only one that had happened in news. So then I was able to link it, sir, but not in the examination hall.
All right. So here we'll be reading rule number 2 with respect to preparing current affairs. Sagna, please just read out this rule number 2 mentioned at the bottom of the page.
Yes, sir. The paper setter looks for nuisances rather than just focusing on sensation aspects of news.
Nuances rather than just focusing on sensational aspects of news. He is not interested in the sensational aspects of the news, rather the intricacies, the nuances. I'm sharing an interesting news piece with you guys. Medha, can you just read out the highlighted section here, please?
Yes, sir. A quick look at the concepts of arrest, the police custody, and judicial custody, which may follow the arrest, and the difference between them.
So, as you can see, this is from, again, the Indian Express, and it was there before the exam, freely available to all of us. And there was debate, there was a lot of discussion around this very concept happening. The only thing is we didn't give it due attention. Now, coming back to the same question, if I say that we could have been better prepared for this question, now does it make better sense?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Certainly.
Makes better sense. Good. Now let's do a similar practice question, that how UPSC can frame question from similar happenings in the current affairs domain. Parth, please just read out the question.
Consider the following statements regarding Enforcement Directorate. A. 1. It is part of Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. Second, it acts as law enforcement agency. Which of the following statements given above are correct?
Right. And the correct answer is
C.
C.
The correct answer is C. Certainly, it's again a very simplified question, and the answer is C. Both. It is part of the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, and it acts as a law enforcement agency. But here we are following the same rule. First, I'd like to share this screenshot from the official website of the Enforcement Directorate. On the home page, on the very first page itself, Medha, please just read out the highlighted section.
Financial investigation agency under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, which enforces the following laws.
Going back to the rule that we discussed, the paper setter looks for nuances rather than just focusing on the sensational aspects of news. Now, you all know why ED or Enforcement Directorate has been in news for the past few weeks or months. But
yes,
UPSC is more likely to go into intricacies and nuances and ask basic questions with respect to ED as to this question, the very similar question that we have asked. It is part of XYZ department of XYZ ABC ministry, and it acts as a law enforcement agency. Is the connect clear to you guys, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's do a similar question from CSAT. Parth, Can you tell me what would be the answer? Actually, all three of you, Medha, Parth, Sagna. We don't have the passage here. What could be the correct answer?
C.
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 C is the correct answer as per you guys, that environmental issues contribute to resource stresses and political conflict. All right. Why not A, B, and D?
They're all extreme statements, sir, and with a negative connotation.
So we won't go into technicalities as to the procedure we follow while solving these questions, as to using the fictitious character of Uncle Jolly and so on. We'll just put it in simpler terms. Resource-based conflicts are always politically motivated. So it's more of a stereotypical statement, right? Option B,
Right.
there are no political solutions. There are no political solutions to resolve X, Y, Z. Again, something that that has a pessimistic overtone. Option D, political conflict based on identity or ideology cannot be resolved. Again, something that has a pessimistic overtone. So we'll go with option B. There are no political solutions to resolve environmental and resource-based conflicts. Okay, so this thought process is the same as you guys were thinking, or was your thought process a bit different? Medha, Parth?
Same, sir.
It was
The
the
same.
It was the same. Okay, so here, those students who haven't been part of CSAT Club can look at the passage and the question side by side. And even after reading the passage, you guys will come to know that the answer will remain the same, option C. And we solved it without having the need to read the passage at all. So coming to the end of this short video discussion or video lecture, we have seen a few questions from the UPSC Prelims 2021, current affairs based questions, and how we could have be well prepared for those questions if you followed the cardinal rules, rule number 1 and rule number 2. Two rules I have shared. There are many more rules that I'll be discussing, that I'll be sharing as part of the free session that I'm holding on my Space in Habitat as well. And certainly in the clubs, that is the current affairs destroyed club, that will be a 10 days workshop where we'll be covering current affairs of past 2 years. Similarly, the Hack CSAT Club, again, you three guys have been part of it. It will be again a 10 days workshop where we will be mastering the tricks, hacks and skills to clear CSAT paper in just a matter of 10 days. Those students accessing this video from YouTube can find the links, the joining links for both the programs in the description box below and in the comment section below. So finally, Medha, Sagna and Parth, thanks a lot for joining in, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.